So you keep hearing Democrats say we need to find out exactly what happened on January 6th, and actually we strongly agree with that. At a recent hearing in Congress, Thomas Massie of Kentucky confronted our highly partisan Attorney General, Merrick Garland, with this footage. It's of a man called Ray Epps, who apparently lives in Arizona. Epps was in Washington the night before, January 5th. He was encouraging Trump supporters to enter the Capitol building illegally. He said it numerous times. Now, in this clip, some people in the crowd immediately decided this guy must be working for the federal government. Watch this.
We need to go in to the Capitol. Let's go! I'm going to put it out there. I'm probably going to go to jail for it, okay? Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. Peacefully. Fed. Peacefully. Okay, folks, spread the word. As soon as the president's done speaking, we go to the Capitol. The Capitol's this direction.
So here's a guy telling Trump supporters they need to break the law and go into the Capitol. That's real video. And they say no. And then they accuse him of being an undercover federal agent. So that's pretty interesting. That guy was on tape encouraging people to break the law, organizing what happened that day. Has he been indicted? Where is he exactly? Well, Congressman Massie asked the Attorney General about that, and the Attorney General refused to answer. He also pointedly refused to say how many federal operatives were there in the crowd that day on January 6th.
As far as we can find, this individual has not been charged with anything. You said this is one of the most sweeping investigations in history. Have you seen that video or those frames from that video?
So as I said at the outset, one of the norms of the Justice Department is to not comment on impending investigations, and particularly not to comment about particular scenes or particular individuals.
Can you tell us, without talking about particular incidents or particular videos, how many agents or assets of the federal government were present on January 6th, whether they agitated to go into the Capitol, and if any of them did?
So I'm not going to violate this norm of the rule of law. I'm not going to comment on an investigation that's ongoing.
Oh, he doesn't want to violate the rule of law, says the guy who just called angry parents terrorists. And of course, the DOJ leaks all the time the details of tons of different investigations that are politically useful to them. Now, just to be totally clear, we don't know whether this Epps guy was working with the federal government. We don't know anything about him, haven't talked to him. We can only show you video from that day. But we do know it doesn't seem like he's been punished for this. If you're looking for the people who organized that day, maybe you should talk to him. Has he been indicted? Not that we know of. Maybe he has been, we don't know it, but we haven't seen any evidence that he has been. A new piece in Revolver News notes that the FBI removed a photo of Ray Epps from its most wanted page this summer, right after Revolver News reported on the story. Darren Beattie is with Revolver News. He runs it. He joins us tonight. Darren, thanks so much for coming on. So I would recommend you have an enormously detailed piece today up on your site, really doing the reporting that legacy news organizations ought to be doing and absolutely aren't, and I would recommend it to our viewers. But tell us specifically, we don't know the truth, but what have you found out about this man encouraging others to break the law in Washington?
Yeah, so here are some of the key points about Ray Epps in the Revolver.News article that you mentioned. First, and we got some of an idea from this from the clips you presented, he is calling for going into the Capitol the evening before January 6th. And this isn't just a one-off, some crazy who comes and goes. No, he goes repeatedly to group after group, redirecting them, saying we need to go into the Capitol. And sure enough, on January 6th, it's a veritable Where's Waldo. He's everywhere. He's all around the Capitol, shepherding people to go to the Capitol where, quote, our problems are. And then 20 seconds before the very first breach of the Capitol, this individual, Ray Epps, whispers into someone's ear. Then 20 seconds later, we have the very first breach. So he's everywhere. And as you pointed out, very curiously, Ray Epps is not indicted. It doesn't seem like the feds want him or have any interest in him, although they did. They had him for a while on their most wanted page until Revolver.News did a report. Now, what's the significance of this timing? Well, there are two things. For one, there was a New York Times piece that had come out that essentially ran cover for the feds, but did it in a way that was counterproductive. It amplified the name of Epps, which wasn't convenient for the feds after Revolver had reported that the feds were likely involved in 1/6. But what it did do is said that Ray Epps was acting alone. And as you can see in this Revolver.news piece, Ray Epps seemed to be coordinating with a number of people in this initial breach, and many of those people also remain curiously unindicted. But perhaps the most damning thing, the FBI scrubbed Epps's face from their database, from their public database, just a day after Revolver ran a report on his fellow Oath Keeper, Stuart Rhodes, who is also unindicted. So there's just a cast of curious characters unindicted.
It's a really provocative and very detailed, very well-reported piece that, again, I would recommend to everyone watching tonight. Taryn Beatty, we will talk to you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And by the way, just to restate, we don't know the truth of this at all. It's awfully weird, though. I think any reasonable person would agree. Ray Epps is always welcome on this show. We always want to hear directly from people. So if you are Ray Epps and you're watching, please call us, because we'd love to have